Hey guys, what's up? Brian from PFC here with a quick video for you guys on the 6 exceptions to interval off of Barricade tactics. We hope everybody's doing okay, forcibly hanging out at home under the fear or threat of arrest with their loved ones. Keep your chins up, take care of each other, and we'll see you guys when this is all over. So, if you've taken a Barricades class with us before, you know what our philosophy is and what our reasoning is as far as proper interval for fighting off of that barricade. We have 6 exceptions to that rule, and we're going to go over all 6 of those in this video right here. So let's talk about some real simple ones first, and then we'll go into some more complex ones. The first exception that we have to that rule, to be clear about this, is the bad guy is just far away. If we've just got a lot of distance, there's no reason whatsoever if we're at 200, 300, 400, 500 meters that we can't take and use that barricade for some support. Where we really pay for that is when the bad guy is at 15, 20, 25, 5, 7 meters, and we're using that car as though it's a sandbag. So bad guy far away. Our next exception to that is the bad guy or the barricade itself. The barricade is a tall barricade. If I've got a high barricade that I'm trying to use, I might have to get further up on that barricade, and I can't just do that hovering out in space. If you look at these berms, for example, if I had to get up and over the top of these berms, I might have to climb physically up the berm, and then I'm on the berm. I'm more or less married to the berm. So that's an issue. That's something we need to be concerned about. Our next issue is where we have the bad guy is high. So if we have a scenario where the bad guy is in an elevated position and we hang way, way, way back from that position and we're trying to work him, we're more or less out in the open. If he just takes 1 or 2 good steps out, he's got us and he can just take and work us out in the open. So we may have to get a little bit closer. If you think along the lines of D-Day in Normandy and storming the beach wall and the pillboxes that are on the beach right there. But also be conscious that if I am trying to get an eyeball and not just see up but see into a higher elevated second floor, third floor structure, anything along those lines, I may still have to get a little bit further back to take and work that angle. Then we've got bad guy low. If I'm up in that elevated position and I'm back from the edge or the lip, whatever it is that's on it, I may be robbed of my ability to get a good accurate shot off. So I may have to physically take and crowd the edge. Something that comes into play, especially if the bad guy who's low is crowding the cover, like we just talked about, is that I'm actually in danger of shooting my foot. So I've got to be conscious of where my lower extremities are in relation to that edge when I'm working from that bad guy low position. Next, we have bad guys wide. This is a multiple threat problem. So if I do have bad guys wide and I've got a single barricade, we don't necessarily want to crowd that barricade. We're still going to use barricade tactics, but I've got to pick one of those threats that's a greater threat. I'm going to do my best to get the barricade in between me and the secondary threat, and I'm going to work that first bad guy, diminish him, and then I'm going to use proper barricade tactics of good interval to work that second threat. So bad guy's wide, I'm going to hammer bad guy number 1, deal with him, put him down, and then start rolling into proper barricade tactics to contend with the second bad guy. Our final exception to the rule is when I've got some sort of a latticed mesh or what we call intermediate barrier that's in front of us. If you can think about stairs, for example, stairs that if I have an optic on a rifle and my optic has a clean line of sight through, my muzzle might not have a clean line of sight through. And if I do come up and say, hey, I've got clear sights right here, and I get on the trigger, I could start smacking rounds into those stairs that are made of concrete or metal in front of me. Fragmentation comes back, hurts me, hurts a teammate, anything along those lines. In the video that we're showing right here, we're intimately aware of the fact that we could easily work around the side and not experience any of those problems and maintain proper interval off of this. But for the purposes of demonstration, we're talking about getting up to that thing and jamming the muzzle through so we don't have that problem. Understand that you also have additional problems that you create, and you need to be conscious of what those are. What are they? We can easily tear off lights, sights, optics, foregrips, anything along those lines, and our gun can physically get snagged if we start shoving it through little barriers, little barricades, and holes. So it's important for us to understand. Now, if we're looking at this and saying, okay, well, there's 6 exceptions, why shouldn't I just crowd up on all of them instead of working around those 6 exceptions? It's because the price that we pay when we're truly gunfighting against a living, breathing, thinking, angry human being that doesn't want us to succeed is really, really bad, especially at more or less intermediate to close distances if we violate these and we get too close and we jam up on the barricade. If I'm in a high position and the bad guy's down low, it's a little more difficult for him to take and work around and flank me if we were on level ground and we were only 7 yards away and I'm sucking up to a fender or a wheel well. Again, everybody take care of each other, stay healthy, and we hope to see you guys in the later half of 2020. Be safe.